Right guys, welcome back to another video on Forza Horizon 4, and today has been the release of Mitsubishi. Now in this video we're going to go through all of the Mitsubishis and see the customization visually, and then we're going to go out and just have a little drive of the cars and see what they sound like. So we'll go ahead and start with the Evo 10. So this is the manufacturer colours we can have it in. I've always liked the Evo 10 in this like sort of bronzy black, to be honest. That's what colour we're going to go for. And then we're going to see what we can do visually. I'm hoping there's going to be a few variables or a few changes to the body kits, but perhaps not. They might just keep it the same. But let's just make it look sort of nice, lower it and exhaust, then we'll go for a little bit of a drive and see what they sound like, see if they sound good. So custom upgrade, we're going to go straight to conversion. There's no wide bodies or nothing special with that, so we'll then go straight to aero. So it's that with the little carbon front, carbon effect should I say, don't really look like carbon, which I've never really liked on the Evo 10. That if you're going for a bit of a race sort of build, I suppose, like an aero build, but for me I prefer standard bumper completely. Though for some reason when you add the Forza front bumper you get rear mud flaps. I don't know why that's a thing, but for me the front bumper oh Jesus Christ. For me, the front bumper standard is a must. I mean, whether you're into, but this spoiler is disgusting. The Forza one's bearable, if that's what look you're going for. None just doesn't suit an Evo 10 unless you're perhaps doing a drag build, that'd be quite cool. But for me, I do think it's look quite cool standard, so we're going to keep it standard. I don't think there's any... I don't know, they look alright. We're going to go ahead. I don't like them skirts, they just look really bold and weird. They're quite cool with a little side skirt extension look. These are just 4 mud flaps or mud flaps all round. Lights with mud flaps, more lights with mud flaps, and then like a rally tyre. For me, I quite like this option here, so that's what we're going to go for. The bonnet, they all look very similar. Maybe we'll just... I'm going to keep it standard on the bonnet. The wheels I do like. I've always liked the factory EBS on the Evo 10, so we're going to quickly upgrade them. You can change your track width, so we're going to bring that right out. And then we're literally just going to lower it on race springs, come out of here, install that setup, and then we're going to lower it in the tune setup. Right, so we're going to lower it in this tune setup here, just sort of bring it right down so it looks quite smart. And then we're going to leave that, and we're going to go and give it a quick test drive. Right, so now we're in the test drive. Jesus Christ, the back of this car is really low, but I'm not too sure why the front, it looks alright, but the front could do with being a bit lower, or the rear could be sort of level with the tyre so it matches the front, but it does still look quite cool. So let's listen to what it sounds like. Let's give it a bit of a drive. Understeers a little bit, standard. So yeah, it does look quite smart. It drives okay standard. Well, it's not really standard, it's still got race suspension. But it does look smart. It's definitely been missed from the game. Launches really well. Picks up speed pretty well for being standard. So yeah, moving on to the Evo 9. Right guys, so we are now looking at the Evo 9. So what colour shall we have this in? White looks quite smart, but I don't know. I've always liked this grey in the Evo 9. I think it's quite an aggressive, quite a cool colour to have this car in. So we're going to go ahead, pick that colour, and just like the Evo 10, we're going to go through the visuals, do the springs. This time we're going to do race exhaust, which I forgot to do on the Evo 10, and then we're going to see what it sounds like, drives like, and thereon. So we're going to come out of there, straight to upgrades and tuning again. Right, there's no preset body kits, so we're going to go straight to aero. Have a full-on rally bumper, which is quite cool. You see, it's weird because I actually do quite like this front bumper, more so because you see a bit more of an exposed intercooler sort of look. Just not so sure on the bit below the front lights. Oh, it's quite cool. You have this kit, which is basically, well, those of you who have watched Fast and Furious, it's exactly the same kit as what the red one has. You've got this one, which looks quite cool for doing a bit of a racy build. It's got the carbon surrounds around the bottom there, and quite a cool carbon diffuser actually, splitter. And that just looks a little bit too sort of naked, if you will. So I quite like this bumper. It's weird to go with a road car, no, but I do quite like it, so I'm going to go for it. This spoiler is disgusting, but it's a rally build, so if that's what you're building, that's also quite cool. Yeah, it gives you the wheel on the top, which is just like a steel wheel. You got this rear spoiler, which is quite cool. That one by itself, I mean, you'd have to be pretty weird to have that. You've got the Forza spoiler, and then you've got none. Again, none only suits if you're doing a bit of a drag build, which would look quite cool. But again, for me personally, I prefer the standard ones, that's what we're going to stick with. Have this rear bumper. The exhaust tip doesn't change. This one, you can have massive old exhaust tip, which is quite cool because you don't have to have it with some weird fins like the previous Forzas. And this, if you're having a bit of a race build, again is quite cool. It's a little sort of exhaust surround with rear diffuser, which is quite cool. But for this, we're just going to go for a standard look with a little tow hook and big old Jap can on the back. And then for me personally, I prefer these side skirts. And then I'm just going to keep the standard bonnet. So we're going to go do the exactly the same again, race tyres, widen them up a little bit, widen track width. Now I do like the wheels on the Evo 9, I think it suits it really well, so we're going to keep them as well. And we're just going to lower it here, and then we're going to pay for that, and then we're going to lower it in the tune and go and see what it drives like. Right, so now we've lowered it, we're going to go outside, see what it sits like outside and see what it drives like. So it does have a massive old exhaust, which looks quite cool. Standard wheels look quite nice. The arch gap is a lot more even than the Evo 10 ones, and it does look really smart all round. So yeah, let's go for a little bit of a drive, see what it sounds like as well. As another example of what you could make it look like. Some random guy. So yeah, let's go for a little drive, see what it's like. There's a lot more turbo noise in the last one. Again, I forgot to do the exhaust. But this is already quite a lot louder than the Evo 10. A bit of turbo flutter as well. Should be able to hear it.
Arrived at your destination.
I do really like this in this game. They've done a good job on this. And again, this car was missed. This whole game really just missed Evos and Mitsubishis. They just felt a little bit empty without them. So, though it's not much of a different car, hopefully there's some different things we can do. Moving on to the Evo 8. Right guys, so now we're looking at the Mitsubishi Evo 8. So I'm not too sure what colour to have this in. I think we'll go for a white. So we're going to pick this car and go and see what we can do. Hopefully there's a little bit of difference between this and the Evo 9 in terms of styling, because they are a very similar car. There's only the roof differences and the lights. Otherwise there ain't all that much of a difference between the two. Well, visually anyway. Right, so we'll come out of here, go into upgrades, see if there's any preset kits, which again there isn't. So body kits, the same front, same all round. We'll go for a little bit of a different look this time. We'll go for a bit of a racy look. Why not? So we'll go with that spoiler. So yeah, there pretty much is no difference between what you can and can't do to the Evo 9. We change the wheels quickly. Straight over here, pick them. Gonna do the track width, lower it, and this time we will give it a race exhaust just so we can see if there is actually any difference or not. Gonna install them upgrades and then lower it on the tune, and then we're gonna go see what this one sounds like. Whether it sounds any different to Evo 9, I imagine probably not. And then we're going to see if it drives better, worse, etc. So, now go out and test drive. Again, in terms of height, this sits really nice, quite even. It's a bit more of a racy build, it looks quite smart. So yeah, let's see what it sounds like. I mean, it sounds, at this point, it sounds pretty much the same. I feel like a hand was a bit more loose, giving it a bit more of a playful trait to it, as opposed to the Evo 9. Otherwise it doesn't drive all that different. So yeah, that is the build of the Evo 8. Right guys, so this is going to be end of part 1 of the Mitsubishi builds, because I don't want it to drag on for too long. The other part will be on shortly after the release of this part, which will still be today, so you don't have to worry about waiting for that. But I'm just going to do them in 2 separate bits. So if this is your first bit or the only bit you're watching, make sure you leave a like, comment anything you'd like to see down below, and smash that subscribe button. See you soon.